tattoos and doesn't have. We were inspecting the guards once there, and here we were, moving from one to the other. Gospodin commandant, gospodin Giovanni, gospodin general, gospodin. He came across one man that had an earring in his ear. He said, "Shtaito." He said, "Oh, whatever it is in sub." And just boom, he ripped it off in blood everywhere. He said, "We don't have pederchinos here in this." So another incident. We came back late at 3 Ludica Bogdan, and he had a dog there, a guard dog. Now, the normal policy when he would come home would be he would give a special whistle to the dog to say it's the master. This time he forgot, and the dog bit him really, really badly. I was scared. I thought, geez, his dog's going to bite me as well. But he only got Željko. Željko then gave the whistle and the dog, but it really right here on his, there. I said, "Željko, this is crazy. I had a gun with me." I said, "Let me shoot this dog." He said, "No. He said, "I'm going to give it extra meat because it did its job. I'm the one that failed. It did its job." Željko had 2 uncles. One uncle was in Moscow and one uncle was in New York. He said to me, "Giovanni," he said, "we don't need, the East. We need the West." I said, "Why is that?" He said, "My uncle from Moscow would always write to my father, we need this, we need that, we need that. Can you send this? Can you send this? Can you send that?" He said, "My uncle from America would always send dollars, food, that, and everything there." He said, "Why do we need people we need people that can help us?" Željko and me were discussing going under a NATO umbrella before the NATO attack, because if Yugoslavia, the whole, is under a NATO umbrella, there is no war. That war ends immediately. I came up with an idea of giving everybody 5,000 German marks in the what was then the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. Every citizen to receive 5,000 German marks. And Željko said, "Why would we do that? Why would the West?" I said, "Well, look, Željko, if you have money in your pocket, do you fancy fighting?" He said, "Well, it doesn't matter." I said, "It does matter, because if you've got money in your pocket and you lose, that guy's going to take your money from you." He said, "You give everybody money." This war was about money, was about people. It was about nothing to do with religion. The moment that Croatia declared independence and Germany accepted and recognized, that was the end. And what did the Germans do? They took all of the coastline of that, all the hotels and everything, the tourism and everything there. And to this day, it became the Croat. And if you believe that Tudjman, Ali Izetbegović, and Slobo were enemies, think again. I've been to several meetings with all 3 of them during the conflict, in Banja Luka, in Pale. We went to all over the place there. And let me tell you, they were drinking that white, was it Slivovitz, whatever the hell it is, there all the time, talking, jabbering, as if they were all old friends, and then shaking hands and going. It is a complete myth. This was generated by Germany, by the European Union, and I've written and I've told the people that. Look at my letter to Silvio Berlusconi and to Forza Italia, which we've sent you. Italy didn't want any of this. It is the others, the United Kingdom. They are always there to cause aggravation. Clinton was all for. Remember, at MGM, we had backed the Democrats with $500,000 donation. And we also gave $500,000, obviously, to the Republican Party, because you don't know who's going to win. Then you can claim some sort of friendship. And my first letter when I came to Yugoslavia was to President-elect Clinton to say, look, what the hell is going on here? We need help and that. But unfortunately, the media and the Germans, and I say so, openly, because in due course, I met Klaus Kinkel, the foreign minister, on another issue to do with Pablo Escobar, and, he said that, that they had Cole had made a terrible, terrible mistake in recognizing, Croatia. And that started an enormous conflict that 270,000 people dead later. Everybody's friends again. Everybody's friends with Germany. What did Adolf Hitler want? Adolf Hitler wanted a United States of Europe under the Bundesbank. Thank you very bloody much. He's got it. Without a shed of blood. Without 1 ounce of blood being shed. He's got it. He got what he wanted. They lost the war, but they won the victory. And this is what they've got Croatia. They've now got all the hotels, most of the German investment. Belgrade is now doing, fine. The square meters is enormous in Belgrade. It's one of the most expensive cities to live in. Productivity, investment, buildings, prosperity. That comes after a war. But you have to have a war first for there to be prosperity. And it was a war that was unnecessary. And I was there 8 years and witnessed every single bloody day of it. And I was under NATO bombing, under NATO bombing, and stopped them from destroying Jennick's apartment and the Intercontinental and the Hyatt and 3 Ludica Bognana and other buildings that I had built. Because remember, with Shumadi, we built Sremčica, we built Pinjes. Thanks to me taking over Shumadia, started a building campaign, because I said to Milošević, I said, look, we've got no bloody money. This is a cooperative. We need money. So the first money came from Mihailović at Gusaba. They wrote me a 16-page letter as to where their apartments were. I replied to them in 1 sentence: can't get away to marry you today because my wife won't let me. So he didn't know what the hell that meant. And he sent a messenger, said, can we have a meeting? And that's what brought their attention. 16-page letter. By the time I'd read it, I would have grown a beard. So we started, he paid us 50,000 dinars, which was then 1-to-1, thanks to Avramović, the governor of the National Bank of Yugoslavia. Dragoslavia was my very, very, very good friend. You need to remember that a lot of the policies, the Council of Europe with Jovanović, was done by me. I'm the one that, and I was following Željko's policy dictate. The policy was, we want to be with the West. We don't want to be. Yes, we do want our Russian brothers and that, but if it comes to investment and that, we prefer the West. And that was the policy under a NATO umbrella, under the Council of Europe. You could go without visas to certain countries. And that's the application was done by me and Vlasiv Jovanović. He was a great, great guy.
Yeah, and he still comes to our production, and we make interviews with him. He has a special place in the history of that era, because he was doing the best he could under those conditions.
Well, he had my help. I mean, just to give you an idea, Avramović didn't have the Banker's Almanac because the sanctions bit and he couldn't get the Banker's Almanac. So I went to London, bought the book with, £600 and brought it. And that's how he established his SWIFT links. It's crazy if you think about it, but that's how we did it. Remember, I could travel freely. I could travel with my Serbian passport to Iraq without visa to certain countries. Another thing, what we devised with Slobo, I said to Milošević one day, I said, look, there's a number of countries that are under sanctions. Why don't we have a consortium so I went to the Myanmar Republic to meet General Than Shwe of the Myanmar Republic, Libya, we went all the different countries, and Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, and we all became part of a pact of countries under sanctions trading with each other. To me, that was a good idea, and it's now obviously being promoted by other people as well there. But they were the policies. And when there were the elections in 1995, I wrote the Stranka Srpske Jedinstve's policy document, which the European Union paid us, I think, 8 million German marks as it won then to participate in the free elections, which, brought to light Dodig. I mean, he was their golden boy. Dodig was the man that was going to rejuvenate everything there. You know, Milo is a nice guy, but I mean, he's very controversial at the moment because now he's no longer in favor. Now he's and all he wants was to have his own republic. But their matters for the people. What I remember telling Condoleezza Rice in Iraq was, please, Condi, she's a great musician. We played piano together there, so she's a very, very good person. Said, let's learn from the mistakes of the First World War. In the First World War, the Allies just drew straight lines on countries. They didn't give a damn about anything else. Let's not do this, anymore. Let's, do this with consent. If we're going to have borders, they don't have to be geographical borders. They have to be social borders, financial borders, economical borders, religious borders. We have to take that into account. We cannot impose our will. And the reason that the Middle East is in crisis now, they've inherited the problems from the First World War, from Lawrence of Arabia, and that's what, I beg them not to do that there. But, people think that, me, Erkan, Milošević were all criminals. We certainly were not. We saved the country. We saved the Republic of Serbia. We saved Montenegro. We saved its integrity. We saved its people. And look what you have now. We have paid a terrible price for that. But I would do it all again.
No regrets.
None at all.
Yeah. Can you tell us something about Radojica Nikčević? You mentioned in few sentences of this interview, you met him in Switzerland. So tell us something about your friendship, and especially because there were some documentaries. They were talking about Radojica's life, and they mentioned you, and then they said something like Radojica and you went to Colombia to meet Pablo Escobar and to take some drugs to bring it back to Yugoslavia. So you met Pablo himself, and you arranged the greatest deal about drugs in world history.
Well, let's put this straight. Yes, I met Pablo Escobar. Radojica did not. I met him at the Banco de Bogota, one of the branches there. He hosted us at the Bogota Royale Hotel. We went with a private jet from the UK, from Timisoara to Cape Verde to Recife to Bogota, and then back again 5 days later. Now, if you just try and be logical, you need to close your eyes and be logical and not be stupid. Do you really think every plane that goes to Bogota today, private plane, even commercial plane, is tracked by the CIA? Because there is a drug situation there. So if you really think that we're all stupid, that we would go by private jet all the way to Bogota from Timisoara, knowing that there is Serbian people, I had my Serbian passport on board, then you are suffering from spasms of aberrations. You're completely bloody mad there. I had been asked to go and see Mr. Escobar there. During my time at MGM, we were planning a film on him, and that's how I got to know him in 89, 1990. When it came to 1993, when we did this trip, he has said, please, Đovani, I need to come to see you. I need to ask you something there. He'd read that I was in there. He paid for the flight. He paid for everything, the hotels, all of that. Now, you would think, how is that possible? I don't know how. I don't care. He did everything there. So we met. What Mr. Escobar wanted of me was asylum for his wife, mother, and children. He said, please find me a European Union country. He said, if you find me a country where my wife can claim asylum and live there, not me, because I'm wanted and that, but my wife, I will make sure that no drugs go into that country or its neighbors. When we got, and that's all. That it was half an hour meeting and no more than that. So Radojica did not meet Pablo, but I did there. I warned Mr. Escobar, be careful on satellite phones because the CIA track everything, there. I said, in Colombia, you're semi-safe, but just be very, very careful. He paid a terrible price for not listening to my advice 6 months later. But I went back. So I saw the Italian foreign minister, Emilio Colombo. I said, look, Emilio, we have this situation. Italy will have no drugs, providing you. No, no, no. He said, the government won't allow it. I went to see Douglas Hurd in London. You know, ironically, I saw him at the National Westminster Bank's Tower head office. Why we met there, I still don't know. But he was a director of the NatWest Bank as well there. So I said, you know, Mr. Hurd, I know your wife, you know, she's a magistrate. I know his wife for like 20 years. That's how he saw me. I said, look, there's an offer from, you know, someone in Colombia. There'll be no drugs in the UK or that if you give them. No, 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 no. I went to France to see Roland Dumas, who then helped me in who was the foreign minister at the time. I said, you know, Roland, look, we have a situation here. I said, we need asylum for 4 people, you know, 2 children and 2 adults. You know, who are they? I said, it's Escobar. No, no, no. He said, you know, there's no way that that's going to happen.